I've lived alone now for 24 years, and it wasn't a choice I made. I was married for 30 years, but my marriage ended, and I suddenly found myself alone, and I had no choice. It was just the way my life was going to be moving forward. Hi, everyone. My name is Susan. Welcome to my channel, where we'll talk about all things related to getting older. I went through the usual challenges and issues that concerned me and would concern any woman, quite honestly, in midlife that suddenly finds herself alone and wondering how she was going to cope, how she was going to manage her life from this point forward. And she finds herself suddenly alone and thrown into a new situation of life. For me, and possibly many of you too, I was married very young. I was only 20, but for the next 30 years, I always had someone else to help make decisions. And all of a sudden, I found myself in a situation where that wasn't the case anymore. And suddenly I was left to be the one making decisions on my own. And it's scary. But you know what? I survived, and you will too. You're strong, and you've got this. Please keep in mind that everything I say, all of these um, thoughts are just my opinion. It's just my take on everything. And I'm hoping this will help you to navigate your life moving forward and, you know, just help you out a bit. And stay tuned toward the end because I have one very important tip that I want to share with you. So the first tip is your finances. And I think this is the most important because, of course, your money is the most important for you to live. It's all up to you now and to organize your bills in one place. Maybe keep a notebook and write down everything that all the bills that you have, the due dates, the amounts, and keep it in a notebook in a safe place so you don't forget what you owe and how much you owe and when it's due. And you can also set up auto pay so that it automatically deducts from your checking account. And that's, of course, extremely helpful if you are like me and you tend to forget certain bills, but thank goodness they are automatically deducted from your checking account or wherever you have it deducted. Now, I hope I don't insult anyone by saying learn to balance your checkbook. I, that's kind of old school, but still, it's very important. Check your online banking regularly. You never know. What happened to me was that I checked my online banking account and I noticed some fraudulent purchases. And of course, I alerted the bank immediately. But, you always have to check that because if you're not keeping up with your balance and your purchases, um, it could lead to someone actually getting your credit card number and charging things. And if you don't check, you're not going to be aware of that. So that's really important. And the second is safety. Safety is a big concern for a woman alone. We had a family friend who wound up living alone. Her husband had passed away and she just couldn't handle it. And she used to have her sister come and stay with her at night because she couldn't handle being on her own. And it's just, you don't want to be a woman like this. Trust me, it's just an awful way to have to live, living in fear. So install some safety systems. There are plenty of security companies online you can check. ADT is got the highest rating, so I would maybe look into something like that. You can, of course, install locks on your doors and windows, more locks than you might have now if that makes you feel safer. Also, there's an app called Snug, SNUG, which is for seniors. And it checks in on you every day, which I think is kind of cool. I had never heard about it before, but I did a little research and I found this app. And I think that might be helpful too for some of you who might like something to check in on you every day. And the next one is health, your health. Of course, you want to be proactive with your health and keep up with your doctor appointments, dentist appointments, your annual or semi annual checkups, things like that. Of course, you don't want to neglect them. I know that you're going through a lot at this point in life, and everything seems to feel like it's coming crashing down on you, but you just need to take the time to take care of yourself because your mental health is really the most important thing. Another thing I learned to do, I didn't do this in the beginning, was to keep a list of all the medications you're on, the dosage and the names, of the medications, and keep an extra copy in your purse or your wallet, because I didn't do this in the beginning. And when I went to the doctor's office and they were asking me what meds I was on, and I couldn't tell them. So I wrote it down and now I keep it in my purse all the time so that, I won't forget. The next one is maintenance, maintenance on your car, maintenance in your home. If you don't know how to do anything or fix anything, and that's okay, you just know you have to hire it out. You can't be expected to know how to fix a leaky faucet, how to do electrical work. The one thing I do want to say about that is, and this applies to your car too, is that just be careful and get estimates and make sure you get several estimates. Another option or another thought is Facebook groups. I go to my Facebook group, my local Facebook group, very often if I'm looking for recommendations on anything in particular that I'm looking for. Like, I want to know where to go to get a chandelier rewired. I haven't a clue. I mean, I could probably just go to a lighting store, but a lot of people know people who can do these sorts of things. So, you know, get onto a Facebook group and put it out there. People love to help. People are always giving recommendations. They love to be able to help other people. So I think that's a great idea, is the Facebook group. And same thing applies with your cars, your house. You have to keep up with things, keep up with the maintenance of your car. Okay, I had to move a little bit because my face was right in the sun. Okay, and the next one is decisions. And you have to realize that you are going to make some decisions that won't be the right decisions. And you know what? That's okay. That's just normal. So, the one tip that I think is really important that I wanted to share with you was for you to not make any major decisions right away. You should actually even wait about a year before you make any major decisions. Like, don't think all of a sudden you have to sell your house or you have to get rid of, these things. I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning, and no one gave me this advice, quite honestly, and it wasn't too smart, because I regret some of the decisions that I made, and I don't want you to go through that either. So just take your time, take as long as you need, and think about it. If you have an idea that you want to do something, just sleep on it for quite a while. Don't jump to any major decisions right away. I think that's really important. And the last one is feeling lonely. Know that you will feel lonely from time to time. It's perfectly normal. I felt lonely quite a lot. I felt abandoned, kind of, but that was my situation in my marriage, how my marriage ended. But you have to understand that it's going to take time, and you will start to feel better, and you'll certainly start to feel stronger as time goes on. You have to think about things like being intentional about socializing. You have to make an effort. When my mom found herself a widow, she used to say that she always felt like what she called the fifth wheel. She said it was difficult because there were always couples, they always went out as couples. And suddenly she was a single person. So she always felt like the fifth person, and she felt out of place. And you might go through that. I don't know. I'm sure things are different nowadays. This was when my mom felt that way. This was back in the 70s, 80s, but she adapted and she did great and she prospered and got stronger on her own. I think we all come into having our own personalities when we're on our own, because we're not with the other person, and we we even learn to find out who we truly are. That happened to me, quite a few years ago, because I was, in my marriage, and because I was married so young, it it didn't allow me to become the full true person that I have become. At this point in my life, I'm really grateful that I'm on my own. I love it and I would never change it. But most of all, most importantly, don't worry. You've got this. You are so much stronger than you can ever imagine, just one step at a time. And you'll be amazed at how much stronger you'll become. So thanks for watching. I hope this helped you. And I hope you tune in again next week. And I'll see you then.